So there's two young people that I want to introduce to you this evening that are going to just share a little bit about themselves. The first one is Thamsi Stevens. I met this young lady last year. Her mom actually attended one of the gig training sessions that I host in the South, and she brought her kids, and that was Thamsi and the brother. And she's going to speak a little bit more about herself, but she's 17 years old. She's an amazing young person. She actually has a business of her own, which she's going to talk about. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time now. I'm just going to head over to her and let her speak. Over to you, Thamsi.
Okay, good evening to everyone. My name is Thamsi Stevens, and I'm just going to be sharing my journey, my gig journey and testimony with everyone. So before I knew gig, I was just a young person who my main passion in life was dancing, and I did rhythmic gymnastics all my life. But as soon as I couldn't do it anymore due to my parents' financial struggles, I started to ask myself questions like, for example, what makes people with a degree and people who do all the right things not become successful? For this reason, I decided to start a business where I would really look deeper into the types of things that prevent people from being successful, doing all the right things according to society. And once I started that business, I actually gave myself a promise that I would coach and grow these girls who I'm training to not experience the things that I had experienced due to money. And I couldn't have heard about gig at a better time. I was actually unintentionally, unintentionally found myself in a gig workshop where I went with my mother, and I had been to many financial workshops before that because I used to just always be interested in how finance works. So I would actually, when my aunts and my parents, etc., would go to these financial workshops, I always wanted, and I was always so interested. But most of them seemed so unreachable for me. I always thought of it as, the future will see me under those things. But actually, when I heard about gig and its message, I was inspired by the fact that gig was so intentional about the journey of everyone's life rather than selling a product. And I say this because of the words that the presenter, who is now my wealth coach, Mam Adwa, spoke about on that platform. She started to speak about wealth, and in my head, wealth was just about finances. But when I started to see that this platform actually opened up my knowledge and wisdom about wealth being more than finances, it actually benefited me the way I started to look at my business and started to look at my life. And fast forward, I went to her and I asked where I could get the legacy book that she had spoken about and where I could start to join this journey. And she told me that I could come and join her for a meeting and she would tell me more about this. I was immediately attracted to the idea when I started to read the book, and the main topic and the main focus that attracted me was intergenerational wealth. I then got my answer to the question, why do people with degrees and jobs who do all the right things according to society not get the answers that they need in life and not get the success that they want in life? And this book answered those questions that I didn't even know if they would be able to. They spoke about intergenerational wealth and the importance of understanding wealth as wisdom more than money. For this reason, I started to expand my knowledge on wisdom and wisdom on finances more than trying to expand my bank accounts. And I also learned that making money work for you should be a focus more than us working for money. And during this time, it's actually a very perfect time to implement this, because it's very hard for a lot of people who find themselves in jobs and aren't being able to work to get money. But because I learned this through the gig message, I started to learn about the different investment accounts, and I started to invest all my business money that I had originally planned to buy a car with at the end of this year, when I was going to be 18 years old. I decided to invest all that money in gig and understand the importance of growing money while I'm growing my wisdom instead of spending money. And when I heard about the initiative to start the youth the Next Generation Youth Journey in GIG, I just have a few inputs as I was asked for that. So my wealth coach came to me, and the thing that actually struck me with this message was the fact that I had to write an action plan at the beginning of the year that she inspired me to write. And when I usually did write visions at the beginning of every year. But the difference was with the wealth coach, I was so inspired by the fact that she kept me accountable. I remember her messaging me after a few months and saying, how's your action plan going? And I was like, I've ticked a few boxes, but now I felt so, pushed to be able to tick all these boxes. She reminded me that, no, this is what we planned for. And even if not all my boxes can be ticked because of this time, just having the settling feeling that I know what I'm missing out on and what I can replace it with, rather than not knowing what she wanted in the first place, is just so much better. So I think with this message, this message is very inspirational to me as a youth person, because I think it's easier to be able to initiate a certain mindset in a younger person because they don't have to change mindsets. So I think that it's possible for anyone to be able to have intergenerational mindset. But if we start with younger people, it's easier to be able to train them to think like that naturally. And I have promised myself and pledged to myself that that is something that I'm willing to do. And before I even get to university, which I will be going to next year, I have decided that if I train my mind to not be submissive to the society's ways of doing things, regarding wealth and just your wellness and your finances. If I originally from young are thinking about my unborn children and thinking about my unborn grandchildren, etc., it will be so much easier for me to be intergenerationally mindseted. And I think that ways we can do this is by hosting workshops in universities, and I think that high schools is also a good place to go to, but I think the effect will be more effective in universities, because I think that I'm just a minority of someone who's started a business or someone who's interested in finances, but generally the people who might be caught better by this type of initiative is people who are about to go into the business world, about to go into the adult world, and that is university students. Moral of the story is that I appreciate GIG for encouraging me to expand my wisdom instead of encouraging me to expand my finances. And I also appreciate GIG for encouraging me to understand intergenerational mindsets rather than thinking about how I can make my life better than my parents' was. I also appreciate GIG for the platforms that they have provided for us to be able to expand our knowledge on the businesses we run and to expand the knowledge on the way we live life. And I am very excited for the initiative, and I appreciate the fact that I have been able to expand my business due to the tips that I was given from Mr. Gavin and Mam Audra, and through the book that Mr. Jasper wrote, The Legacy. And for this reason, I have now expanded my business virtually, and I am training gymnastics virtually. So I would also like to take the opportunity to say that I have a business, a rhythmic gymnastics business for girls from the age of 5 years old in Mondio, Johannesburg South. And anyone who is interested from that side is more than welcome to contact me. Thank you again.
Thank you, Thamsi. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Here's my hand clap to you.
Thank you.
All the other people. I'm so impressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.